Sucio Talk. What up, Josh Long? How you doing, my man? Quick shout out to Josh Long. That's B34NS on IG, Instagram. My boy was the first one to ever call in on a Sucio Talk. First one to ever call in. So shout out to you. We talked about knives, sharpening knives, and a big tidbit on old school Quince stories, working out there and doing all that. So, trying to stay warm out here. Shit, it's not the California weather I moved here for. So, but I digress. It's all good. Hopefully, you guys are doing well out there. Um, Sucio Talk, this is the fourth episode ever live. Number 110. If you're tuning in, call in from anywhere, 510-463-1145, 510-463-1145. You guys call in the show, and I will answer at that point, which I'll have to just take my hat off at that point. So here it is, it's coming off. All right. So a lot of things happened this past week. Was it James Beard? James Beard came out, the 2023 semifinalist. Okay, so I'm actually gonna throw that up on the screen over here, and we're gonna check this out. The 2023 James Beard Chef Awards semifinalist. So we'll go by section here, and then I'm gonna name off who is nominated. It's a long list, all right? So I will highlight those that have either been on the show or if I know them. The goal of this show is obviously to get to know everyone on this James Beard and more. I'm in Palm Springs right now, La Quinta, doing that personal chef shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, had a good dinner. It's a weird conversation at the table tonight about race. It's always fun to see old white people talk about race and what they believe. I think we'd all get to a better outcome and solution if we just listened to each other and then made a plan. Because I don't know if you are just out there living life. People are in despair. I mean, people are they're sad, torn up, all kinds of mental illnesses coming out of the woodwork. You know what I mean? I've had ADHD since I was a kid. I got diagnosed with it, and I would take medicine for it and shit. But I will say a way that I've dealt with mental illness is to make believe that it doesn't exist. Maybe that's not the best way, but I have done it before for, depression. It's just a good way to kind of snap yourself out of it, just get going in order to get better. But anyway, here we go. James Beard Foundation, Outstanding Restaurateur. If you guys want to see this list while I'm going through it, go over and check it out on YouTube. You should be subscribed on YouTube. That's Sucio Talk, Sucio Talk, Talk. Okay. Check it out on YouTube. That is youtube.com/@Sucio Talk. They changed up the shit a little bit over at YouTube. Anchor FM if you want that audio only. All right. And then you got Spotify. So you can get it there. Apple Podcasts, I'm having trouble with them just because I don't have Apple products. And every time you go to log in, it says you need an Apple product to log in. So I don't know. I might just get an iPad just for that reason. Also find it easier to maybe broadcast in the car if I had another system set up. Okay? But shout out to you guys out there. Cocinero de Cocina. What up, chef? How you doing? King Kai 520 PS4. What up? Boston Baz. What up? Nice to see you. That's on IG Live. You can check this show out on YouTube. I'd rather you really check it out on YouTube because then you can call in. If any chefs out there want to call in to the show live, you will be heard. It will be recorded 510-463-1145. That hotline is live every Monday at 10. Okay? But let's go back to the James Beard. All right, so we got Muhammad Ali Alcazar and Niven Patel, Alpareno Restaurant Group, Ghee Indian Kitchen, Orno, and Mame in Miami, Florida. Was just talking about Miami, Florida. Don't know if I have the right opinion of it because I haven't been there in a while. So I'll go check it out. Brandon Krostowski, Edwin's Leadership and Restaurant Institute, Edwin's Leadership and Restaurant Institute, Edwin's 2, Edwin's Bakery, and others. Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to you. This is Outstanding Restaurateur James Beard Foundation 2023 nomination list. Krista Cole, Sir Lee, and Gather Restaurant in Portland. Shout out to Portland. Greg Doolin's Soul Food, Dullen's on Crenshaw, Dullenville, Los Angeles, California. Lale Fairbairn, locally grown restaurants, Snow City Cafe, South Restaurant, Coffee House, and Spennard Roadhouse in Anchorage. All right, check that out. Sims and Kirsten Harlow Foster Supply Hospitality. The DeBruce Arnold House Tavern and Canosa Hall, New York. See, everybody dogs on James Beard a lot. You know, I think that they've definitely cleaned up their act in the last few years. So there's that. Okay. Aaron Hoskins, Sarah Simmons, Nicole Story, and Ellie Gigo, City Grit Hospitality Group. That's Small Sugar, City Grit, and Focolare Pizzeria in Columbia, South Carolina. Yuka Leroy and Chris Toliao Casava in San Francisco. I haven't been there. Check that out. Michael and Tara Gallina and Aaron Martinez, Take Root Hospitality. That's Vicia, Winslow's Table, Bistro, La Floraison, and others in St. Louis, Missouri. Shout out to St. Louis. Clinton Gray, Derek Moore, and Emmanuel Reed, Slim and Husky's Pizza Birria, Nashville, Tennessee. Jonna Hayes and Deborah Zinsky, Three Sirens Restaurant Group, Bird and Bottle, Hole Mole, Shake Jake's, and others. I will say these restaurant names are getting cool. Albert McDonald, The Mint, Pizza Compania, and Backcountry Burger Bar in Bozeman, Montana. I've been to Backcountry Burger Bar in Bozeman. Pretty good experience there. I didn't know that it had any kind of a claim. I was just walking down that main street in Bozeman, and I saw a bar that was open, so I went in there. Yenvi and Quinn Pham, Fobach Soup Shop, and Pacific Standard Time, and The Boat. Pacific Standard Time. That's a good play on words for a pho restaurant. That's in Seattle, Washington. And we got Michael Regenbagen and Jason Berry, Need Hospitality. That's need like I need bread. I need bread. Okay. Then we got Design Mi Vida, Lil Succotash, and Gatsby in Washington, D.C. That's that Michael Regenbagen and Jason Berry. Once again, this is the James Beard nominee list brought to you on Sucio Talk. I'm sure you guys already fucking know this, but the list is long as fuck. I mean, every single category has like 16 chefs on this shit. Jimmy and Johnny Tung, Bento Asian Kitchen and Sushi Doshi, Camille, Orlando, Florida. Check that out. Kelly Whitaker, Id Est Hospitality Group, Basta, The Wolf's Tailor, and Bruto in Boulder, Colorado. I've heard a lot of good things about Basta and The Wolf's Tailor out there in Colorado. Shout out to Miles, my boy Miles out there. Is that Nathaniel Dorn? What up, Nathaniel Dorn? I'm going to have you on the podcast, son, all right? Just so you know. When I come up to Napa, Nathaniel, let's sit down and do a beautiful podcast. We got a lot of history to cover. A lot of shit. For those of you who don't know, he popped up on my Instagram live. Nathaniel Dorn was the old general manager of the restaurant at Meadowood. And frankly, he fucking ran that front of the house with an iron fist. And let me tell you what, is one of the best front of the house teams that I've ever seen in my life. So big shout out to Nathaniel Dorn. I'll have him on the show at some fucking point. I'm not sure when I'll be up in Napa. But let's do it, bro. Let's get on it. James Beard Foundation, still on Outstanding Restaurateur. Okay. Chris Williams, Lucille's Hospitality Group in Houston, Texas. Ellen Yin, High Street Hospitality Group, Fork A Kitchen Bar Plus Bar, High Street Philly, and others in Philly, Pennsylvania. Then we got Outstanding Chef Junior Borges, Meridian, Dallas, Texas. That guy's been doing it for quite a fucking while. Nina Compton has also been doing it for quite a while. Compere La Pin, that is New Orleans. Greg Collier and Leah and Louise in Charlotte, North Carolina. Renee Erickson of the Walrus and the Carpenter in Seattle, Washington. I noticed that kind of restaurant name took over for a while. It'd always be like the something and the something. It's always like an animal and then like some kind of job, you know. The lion and the plumber, the gerbil and the street worker. All right. Anyway, no more restaurant name thinking for me. Let's see. Shigeru Fukuyoshi Sagami in Collingswood, New Jersey. Christine Ha and Tony Nguyen Sin Chow in Houston, Texas. Andre Lee, the Pig and the Lady in Honolulu, Hawaii. Johnny Leach, the Town Company, Kansas City, Missouri. Rachel Miller of Nightshade Noodle Bar in Lynn, Massachusetts. What's going on, guys? Gastro Freak. What up, BV Magazine? What up, Francisco Xavier? Francisco, want to shout out you for calling in last week and schooling us a little bit on what it's like to grow or have a restaurant, own and operate a restaurant in Mexico City. A lot of corruption out there, so he was able to let us know a little bit about what it's like to own a business or run a business in a city that is kind of cutthroat. You know, it's kind of Wild West, but they get it done. And if you guys are paying attention, the Mexico City food scene is popping. All right, there's a lot of chefs down there. A lot of people want a piece of the pie of what's going on down there. Johnny Leach, the Town Company in Kansas City, Missouri. Once again, this is the Outstanding Chefs of James Beard. I'm just going to sprinkle in the other content as I go here because there's a lot of fucking chefs out here. Okay? Eder Montero and Alex Raji of La Vara, Brooklyn, New York. David Nayfield, Chef Fico, guys always killing it. Nikki Nakayama, always killing it as well. Los Angeles. Josh Niernberg, Bin 707 Food Bar in Grand Junction, Colorado. First off, shout out to James Beard for fucking covering all these restaurants. Like it's quite a task to go to so many places and try so many different foods, and then be able to come out with some kind of concise list. Right? Somebody's always gonna be upset. So, Chef Beard, you just keep doing it. All right. Dana Rodriguez, Super Mega Bien. That is a fucking good restaurant name right there. Super Mega Bien. Reminds me a little bit of how, I'm forgetting his name now. One of my chef buddies talks like that. Denver, Colorado. Rob Rubba, Oyster, Washington, D.C. Silvana Salcido Esparza. That's Barrio Cafe in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's see. What do we got? Silvana Salcido. I already said that. Hajime Sato. That's Sosai, Clawson, Michigan. Michael Schwartz. That's Michael's Genuine Food and Drink, Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida. David Vargas, Vida Cantina in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And that is the Outstanding Chefs this year, 2023, nominated by James Beard himself. No, that's not it. And then we got Outstanding Restaurant presented by Aquapana, Natural Spring Water. Ariete in Miami, Florida. that chef also does Pan Con podcast, and he's been actually doing some sick ass food podcast experiences where he's having guests come into the restaurant, sit down while he's doing the interview, and these guys, they eat food, they sit there, they have an evening with a chef, they can ask questions. Definitely a future project here for Sucio Talk for sure. Brennan's in New Orleans. You guys know about Brennan's? They fucking invented Bananas Foster. What up with Brennan's? I went to Brennan's one time in New Orleans, and it's one of those old school restaurants where the servers have all been working there for like 30, 40 years. And when I think about that, I'm like, we don't have where's I going with that? We don't have a lot of restaurants that have a lot of old staff. Everybody's always, I need to go here, learn a few things, and move on to the next place. There's not really a lot of restaurants that keep you for the long haul anymore. And I think we're seeing that now in the world because you have, 11 Madison Park had to reinvent themselves. They went to like a vegetarian thing. Then you got our boy Rene Redzepi, who just said he was going to change what Noma is because it's not sustainable anymore. We all saw that media move. It fucking worked for him. So, hey, what are you going to do? But I think it's a dying breed, man. I think sometimes when you walk into a restaurant and you have a front of the house guy who's been there for fucking 20 years, I mean, that's the guy that you want training the new people coming in. And it's always been, I know we always make fun of the restaurants that are like, we're a family here. But it's important to have some kind of family value to it because then you have that respect, right? And when you have that old server, you show them respect as if it was your uncle and you listen to them, Nowadays, you go into places and it's usually fucking younger kids training older people how to do the job. And let me tell you something, man. I've managed older people. It is one of the most challenging things that you could do is manage fucking old people when you're young, because they're just looking at you like you have no fucking life experience, and half the time the people who you're managing are immigrants coming from Mexico and all different types of places, right? So, and you're some fucking snot-nosed kid that went to culinary school. You're 23 years old, right? This person is 40 something, 50 something, has a degree, probably a lawyer, some shit that they can't do in the United States anymore, and they show up every day and they fucking bust their ass for you, and they get that respect, and people I feel like leave a job over lack of respect, because after a while we just be like, fuck it, we got more people coming in here, we don't need to care, everyone wants to be a server, everyone wants to be a chef, and now fucking everybody's turning around like, where is everybody? We got a fucking staff crisis. Well, let me tell you what happened, you sons of bitches. You fucking roasted everyone and you beat them down to a pulp to where they don't want to come back to work in restaurants. They're out there fucking selling insurance right now. I bet you that the best chef in the world doesn't work in restaurants anymore. For sure. All right? And I'm talking about somebody that's better than Keller, somebody that's better than all these fools, but just never did it because of all the bullshit that you have to deal with, So, Cassia, Santa Monica, California. This is outstanding restaurant presented by Aqua Pana. Okay? La Condesa in Austin, Texas. I got to check that spot out. Copine in Seattle, Washington. Cora Cora in West Hartford, Connecticut. Shout out, Connecticut. Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Philly, Pennsylvania. All right, look, I know I've been saying that I like the restaurant names, but I don't like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's just a personal preference. It's probably a good restaurant. It's not like I'm not going to go there because it's called Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But just for me, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't name my restaurant 3 days of the week. The Gray, Savannah, Georgia. Hell's Backbone Grill and Farm in Boulder, Utah. We got Lucia in Dallas, Texas. We got Mitas in Cincinnati. Murad in San Francisco. We got Pagu in Cambridge, Mass. Proper Meats and Provisions in Flagstaff, Arizona. RIS in Washington, D.C. Red Rose Restaurant in Lowell, Mass. Smith, Chicago. I tried to get Chef over there to do a podcast on multiple occasions. All right. So if you know the chef over at Smith, let him know that he needs to go on Sucio Talk. I know some of you guys over there at the restaurant Smith listen to the show. So I'm talking to you. Go in there and ask your chef, be like, yo, chef, why haven't you been on Sucio Talk yet? Bet you he doesn't have a good answer. Okay. Got a note right now from Beans. Says, so true. My first job at Aquia, I had to train a dude 10 years older than me. It was hella tough. Fuck yeah, it is, dude. It's like they probably have kids your age. You know, I mean, I guess not 10 years older than you. If he had a kid, that'd be pretty fucking hardcore. Red Rose Restaurant, Lowell, Massachusetts. I already said that one. Via Carota. I don't think they've ever been nominated. I could be totally wrong on that, but Via Carota is one of my favorite restaurants in New York. They do it right. And there's something to be said about restaurants that focus on Italian ingredients, that bring shit over from Italy. Spuntino, Frankie's, Spuntino in New York, the Franks, they run that town. They bring in a lot of stuff from Italy all the time. Those dudes did 12 days with me, and they don't supply Via Carota with anything. I think Via Carota gets its own stuff from Italy itself. But the Frankie's Spuntino olive oil at Whole Foods is bomb. And I worked with those dudes at a 12 days. And so 12 days was happening, and they wanted it to smell like Christmas. And apparently in Italy, it's a Christmassy thing to put pine cones in the fire. So it's like very aromatic. So we make these dishes. Basically, it's a big platter with a bunch of pine cones, and then inlay was the plate. And so we basically had the pine cones in the Josper oven, and we were roasting them, right, to get them really aromatic. And then at the last minute, the Franks at the pass decided, I think it's a better idea if we use a torch and torch these pine cones. And I'm talking about, again, the Franks from New York. They own Frankie Spuntino and a bunch of other restaurants, and they also bring a lot of products from Italy over. But they almost burned down the motherfucking place, Meadowood, because basically the pine cones, when they went out into the dining room, this is like 12 days, $1,000 a ticket, tasting menu, and the fucking whole dining room, whole kitchen smoked out with pine cone smoke. We had to we put the dish on the table, and then we had to quickly send all the servers back out to get the dish again. Okay? So we quickly recovered. We filled up some 22 quarts with water, put them outside the door, and as the servers were taking the burning pine cones from the table, they were just walking right out the back door and dumping everything into a 22 quart with water in it. And I mean, just imagine a 3 Michelin star restaurant smoked out. I'm talking about you couldn't see. We were afraid that the fucking smoke alarm was going to go off. Like, it was very dangerous. The night was going to get derailed right then and there. So the reason I brought them up and products from Italy is because their olive oil is really good. It's in Whole Foods. 457 it's got on the label. And these dudes showed me, they took this can of crushed tomatoes, and they're like, we're going to make pasta sauce. And it was no lie, 1-to-1, number 10 can of tomatoes to the same amount of uni. It must have been like 8 to 12 trays. And just imagine, like, when you get uni, you're always taking a lot of care of it. You're like picking it up to place it on whatever you're fucking plating. These dudes were just like rubber spatula scraping the shit into this fucking mixing bowl with crushed tomatoes from Italy. And then basically we took a whisk and we just smashed up all the uni and then whisked it together. And the pickup was literally like pasta, that sauce, salt, and fucking done. And it was incredible. One of the best ways to have uni, in my opinion. Those guys blew my mind that day. So shout out to them. Wickman House, Ellison Bay, Wisconsin. That's again that Aquapana Outstanding Restaurant, James Beard. And we got Emerging Chef presented by S. Pellegrino, Sparkling Natural Mineral Water. These fucking sparkling water companies got their big wet hands and everything, don't they? That's what people usually attack when they're trying to take down Michelin. They're like, fuck your fucking sparkling water companies. But it's like, bro, they're just trying to put on chefs. You know what I mean? We were talking about this at the table earlier. I was telling you guys I had an awkward conversation, but the change in this world that we want to see, the quality, all-inclusive shit, is not going to happen, probably not going to happen in our fucking lifetime. Okay? Let's just be honest. And there's going to be, when things change, things are going to be hard. Okay? But we're here for it. So again, S. Pellegrino, Sparkling Natural Mineral Water. Kane Atkinson of Kano in Omaha. We got Bernard Bennett, Ocon and Bluffton, South Carolina. Damar Brown, Virtue, Chicago, Illinois. Victoria Elizondo, Cochinita & Co., Houston, Texas. Julio Hernandez, Maíz de la Vida, Nashville, Tennessee. Bro, Julio Hernandez, I met him through Jason Duck. Jason Duck was the old bar manager, ex-bar manager at Charter Oak while I was chef there. Incredible bartender, great flavors, and just a fucking good guy to be around. Bartenders don't get enough credit, man. It's not just, oh, the drinks are good. Imagine if you had to get work done in a place that had blasting music and then you had to listen to everyone's fucking problems. You'd never get anything done. You know what I mean? Moving on. Jamie Huang. But anyways, I think I was telling a story about Julio. I ate his food out of that truck, and we already knew that it was popping. I mean, Jason Duck was telling me about this dude before I even rolled into Nashville, and this was on the road trip. So shout out to Julio. Jamie Huang, Ahan, Madison, Wisconsin. Rashida Holmes, Bridgetown Roti, Los Angeles. I got to check that out. Jennifer Hua, Doberton, Best Quality Daughter, San Antonio, Texas. Telly Justice, Hags, New York, New York. Vin Le Cicada Coffee Bar, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Amado Lopez, Casa Amado Taqueria, Berkeley. Berkeley, MI. Is that Michigan? Is there a Berkeley in Michigan? Oh, there it goes. Christian Lowe, Shift Kitchen and Bar, Flagstaff, Arizona. Serene Mabay, Dakar Nola, New Orleans, Louisiana. My boy Serene, he was on the podcast. If you guys need to check out that episode, check it out. Okay, Dakar Nola, New Orleans, Louisiana. My boy Serene Mabay, he was on the podcast. And hold on now. We got a call at 10:26, 4 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm going to call back. I'm going to call back. Here we go. You can listen to this call on YouTube. Listen to the call on YouTube. So they called and left a message. I think I need to remove this off of the browser here so I can actually see what the fuck is going on. Yo, who we got?
Spencer, man.
Spencer, what the
Spencer
fuck
Horvitz.
is up, bro? Spencer Horvitz, ex-chef over at Slug. Are you in Japan right now?
Yes, sir. I'm walking the street in Osaka trying to get some street food.
You're calling me from Japan right now.
I'm calling you from Japan. I'm here with 3 of my chef buddies. We all met together at the Progress, and I went and visited Coleman last night in Shiga, right outside of Kyoto.
Dope, man. How is he? How
call in and say what's up.
Yeah, did you eat at the restaurant?
Yeah, we ate at Solar. It was fucking amazing. It was food where all the ingredients were from like very close to where the resort is.
Right.
Within like, I don't know, 50 to 100 kilometers. And he's using almost exclusively Japanese products. He was like, the only things I can't get around here are like fryer oil and, one or two other things like some misos and stuff like that.
Right.
But it was really fucking beautiful cooking. I mean, Coleman's doing a fucking great job. He's thriving and he's,
Yeah.
killing it.
How many covers
Really
is he
good
doing
food.
in there?
I mean, it's the winter season. I mean, we took a train in there and it was like, you know, snow everywhere. There was still maybe 25 guests in the
Right.
dining room, but typically they do 2 seatings. This time they just did 1.
One seating. Okay. Dope, man. So
Yeah,
what
he said during winter season they only do one seating. So
right. And is that him and his wife out there doing that?
yeah, it's Kathy. They met at Bennu.
Okay.
They met at Bennu, and then they worked together at Inua, that Japanese Noma.
Right,
basically.
right. Holy fuck, man. So hey, what prompted you to go to Japan?
Well, I was taking some time off from the restaurant. I hurt my back, and the menu changed. Now it's basically a pop-up only situation over there.
Right.
So a whole multitude of factors for leaving Slug, but then I realized, one, my buddy found a ticket to Japan that was like $340 out of San Jose.
Really?
On this new airline called Zip Air. Yeah, it was fucking insane. So I was like, well, that's a reason enough to go to Asia. I have the free time, Cooks
Yeah.
never really get to travel unless they're out of work, which I think is kind of shitty.
I fucking
Most
heard
people have
that.
to quit their jobs to go on a vacation like this.
Yeah.
You work at a restaurant for 2 years, you put in your notice, and then you go travel in Asia, and then suddenly you have a Japanese pop up or something, and that's your whole career right there.
Exactly, man. Don't get fucking wrapped up, bro. All right.
Yeah.
We need
yeah, right?
we need more Jewish fine dining. Okay.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
but I mean, it's cool. We're going to Japan. Today's our last day in Japan. We were in Tokyo for 3 days, Kyoto for 2 days, and now Osaka for 1 day.
Dope.
And then we'll go to Taiwan for 4 days and visit Taipei, be there for the whole time, and then Thailand for another 4 days, and then Bali for 4 days.
It's fucking sick, dude. So you're out there just with the boys.
Yeah, boys trip.
Fuck yeah,
when I get
man.
back,
That's the
it'll
way to
be
do it,
my
bro.
5-year anniversary with my girl. So
5-year
my girl was like,
anniversary.
well, I don't know why. Yeah, she was like, I don't know why the fuck you're going to Bali, with a bunch of fucking stinky ass line cooks. That's
Right.
that's some honeymoon shit. But now, so when we get back, we're gonna go on a surprise trip somewhere. She's surprising me.
All good, bro.
that should be
That's
dope.
awesome, man. Well, I'm
Yeah.
happy for you, and fucking thank you for calling in. You're actually the 3rd caller ever on Sucio Talk Live.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, fuck
Nice.
yeah, man.
Yeah, happy
Always
being
supporting.
third.
When you get what is
my
your
classic placing?
do you have any plans to get back into restaurants when you get back? What's brewing?
Yeah, so planning on some pop-ups when I get back.
Okay.
No dates specifically, but kind of focus on California Jewish food. So less New York deli diner cuisine, more influenced by Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and Eastern European stuff.
Right.
Kind of with a local produce lens and California natural wine, stuff like that. So that'll be TBD dates when I pop up, but
Right.
should be kind of similar food to what I was doing at Slug a little bit. And those are yet to come. So we're still
Sick,
planning
man.
out some details.
Well, I'm fucking
Yeah.
super excited for what you got coming up, and the work you did at Slug was fucking awesome. So I'm
Thank you.
glad
Appreciate your
glad
support.
you're getting some me time out there in Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking when you come back, we'll do a whole recap episode on your meals and all that. So definitely document, record some shit, and we'll bullshit on the show about it.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
All right,
Cheers,
brother.
bud.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, see you, man. Bye.
Peace out. All right, so that was Spencer Horowitz, ex-chef of Slug Bar. He also just recently wrote an article for the Chronicle. They're slowly redeeming themselves. Was it the Chronicle? I probably had the wrong thing there. But basically, chefs with ADHD. ADHD and chefs. I have a feeling that we are all on the spectrum. Like everybody goes through life being like, oh, that person's on the spectrum. Because you know what? Tell you the truth, and sorry to offend anybody here, but I'm fucking retarded sometimes. All right, and I need some help. Okay, I have ADHD. You know what I mean? I haven't taken medicine for it since I was a kid, Sometimes I think about going back to, you know, some sort of ADHD medicine. But I think the chronic smoke definitely helps me out with that. So we'll just keep doing that. For the Chronicle, that's what it was for. He just corrected me on IG Live. Platos Locos, his chef Spencer Horowitz. Check him out. He'll be popping up when he gets back. He'll finalize some dates and get that out there. Let me tell you something, man. Being a chef and doing a pop up, like after you leave a restaurant, is fucking hard. Okay? People think that, oh, he's got a pop up, he's going to sell it. Like, you're always hustling to sell tickets. Always. I think that one of the best pop up systems I've seen is our boy at Burdell. Okay? He did, I think it was like one every month or one every 2 weeks. It's a good way to definitely segment it and keep your mind right when you're doing them. Because you can hustle and you can run at a restaurant, right? You can do that all the time. But when you're doing a pop up and you make this beautiful menu, guess what, motherfucker? You're slicing those fucking you're slicing the garlic, you're slicing the shallots. You know what I mean? We got a note from Francisco. Shout out to Chef McKinley, Chef McKinley of Restaurant Canoe. From what I see online, one of the best fucking restaurants in the world right now. I mean, his food is beautiful, his methodology is beautiful, and this is just what I'm seeing online. So working in that restaurant must be fucking sick. My boy Brad Pereira, actually, who used to work with Spencer, just went to eat there, and he said great things about it. So shout out to Chef McKinley, chef of Canoe Restaurant in Toronto, I believe, Canada. I'm gonna make my way up there and do a round of podcasts and eating at restaurants at some point. Definitely a stage too, because your fucking dough, bro, your doughs for all your roulas and your French technique is fucking fuego. I gotta learn how to do that shit. Note on pop-ups. Pop-ups are super tough. And especially if you don't have a kitchen to work out of. And most of these guys doing these pop-ups are prepping their shit at home. They're prepping their shit. They're like pissing off their fucking partner because they're filling the fridge up with a bunch of stuff. And you got a bunch of dry store shit. I mean, your kitchen just looks like a fucking, no home kitchen is really set up for cooking for multiple people like that. Like I'm talking 50, 60 covers worth. So shout out to these chefs out here doing pop-ups. The shit's hard to the point where I did one and I said, fuck these pop-ups. All right. I need to get my motherfucking ass in a restaurant. And that's what I'm going to do. Shout out to Selassie Dotsie. All right. Chef of High Felicia over in Oakland. They just changed their dining experience to a more family style, more inclusive thing. So I got to go check her out over there. Okay. And as we're doing this, we're just going down the line of James Beard Foundation nominated chefs as I go into other tangents and shit going on. Check this show out on YouTube. And you can also hear the people calling in. I just had a call from Spencer Horowitz on the show. Spencer was just on the show. He called in. So wherever you're at, baby, call in. 510-463-1145. You'll be on the show forever and ever because I drop these after I do the live. And then you can be like, hey, Mom, I was on a podcast. And they're going to be like, who's that ugly motherfucker over there that you're on the podcast with? I don't know. Just some guy. Okay, here we go. I stopped at Serene Mabay, representing New Orleans, Dakar Nola, doing food from Senegal. So shout out to Serene Mabay. He was on the show. You guys need to check out his episode. It's on the YouTube channel. Then we got Vincent Medina and Luis Trevino of Cafe Alone in Berkeley, California. Charlie Mitchell, Clover Hill, New York. Bo Poritko, Misfit Snack Bar in Denver, Colorado. That's a good one. That's a good one. Shout out Amanda Schulman, Her Place Supper Club, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Kevin Smith, Beast and Cleaver, Seattle, Washington. A lot of successful Kevin Smiths out here. You know what I mean? Elias Tadasi, Melange in Washington, D.C. Aquino West, Rosie's, Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida. They're making their fucking name for themselves out there, man. You see them now popping up everywhere. I'm telling you, when you get that Michelin, when Michelin comes to town, baby, you best know that James Beard is going to follow. Best new restaurant, Al Coro, New York, New York. The back porch, that's a roundup in Montana. This is best new restaurant. Al Coro in New York, New York. The back porch, that's a roundup, Montana. Bar Sparrow, Washington. Shout out to Johnny Sparrow. He's over there doing a pop-up at Snail Bar, or was doing a pop-up at Snail Bar. And what a cool story. You know, Johnny Sparrow works at in Spain with Andres, and then come full circle, you know, years later, they're doing pop-ups together. And the pop-up was only he's only able to do this because he went through a tragic fire of his restaurant in Washington, D.C., where we did the first podcast. You can also find that podcast on YouTube. But Johnny Sparrow's a fucking cool-ass dude, so that must have been a cool moment for them. Birch and Rye, San Francisco, California. Causa, Washington, D.C. Department of Culture, New York, New York. Don Artemio, Fort Worth, Texas. AI, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Et al. The Friars Fork, Alamosa, Colorado. Heavy Metal Sausage Company. That's a sick name. That'd be a good metal name right there. We are Heavy Metal Sausage Co. All right. Hef's Burger Club, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Khan in Portland, Oregon. Shout out to him. Fucking, his name is escaping me right now. But he's good friends with Chef Maylin. Gregory Gourdet. Shout out to him. He just opened Khan in Portland last year. Already getting James Beard nominations out here. Act like you didn't know. Kamai Cambodian Fine Dining. I'd love to check that out in Chicago, Illinois. Crew, KRU in Brooklyn, New York. La Royal, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Cambridge, Massachusetts on the James Beard list. All right. Loopy and Iris, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Namikaze, Honolulu, Hawaii. Neng Juniors, Asheville, North Carolina. Their food scene is also blowing up. It's kind of like a country Portland. Nolia, Cincinnati, Ohio. Obelix, Chicago, Illinois. Okta in McMinnville, Oregon. Pija Palace, Los Angeles, California. Pizza Grace, Birmingham, Alabama. Restaurant Beatrice, Dallas, Texas. Sambu's African Kitchen, Jackson, Mississippi. Stissing House, Pine Plains, New York. Tatemo, Houston, Texas. Tatsu, Dallas, Texas. And guess who else, motherfucker? All right, I'm going to read one more. Wolf Peach in Camden, Maine. And then we got Yangban Society in Los Angeles, California. Chef Kat and John, huge shout out to them. Big influence in my career. You know, mentors right there. So shout out to them, Yangban Society. I helped open it. You know, I was only there for like 7 days, 8 days, something like that. At the beginning of 2022. Now it's been a year. They've been open. They're doing it. They're still open. So pretty legit. All right, I'm getting a phone call right now. Here we go. Hello, Sucio Talk. Who do we have?
From
David Witt.
David.
To accept, press 1.
David Witt. Chef Dave Witt, you there?
Chef David Goetti, what's going on,
How you
man?
doing, man?
Not much, dude. Just checking out the live stream. Tired as fuck.
I hear you, bro. What fucking time is it over there? You're in Florida, right?
Yeah, dog. I was loving the Miami love and the couple Orlando shout outs we were getting on the beers. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys are fucking making a name for yourselves down there. So I'm glad you guys are getting the recognition you deserve.
They're doing all right, man. No 3 stars yet, but for the first year,
Yeah,
got a
man.
few
It'll
places
it'll
named.
take some time. You'll get there. How are you, man? You're transferring over from restaurants to personal chef.
Yeah. So I was getting an offer from this really wealthy family out this way, and it didn't go through like I thought it would.
Right.
So it's still restaurants for now, but hey, that's not the end of it,
Right. No, never. And what was that process like? And
Yeah.
did you
But
like it compared to
I
restaurants?
shot you a text earlier, man. 'Cause I was checking out, what was it? I missed a live stream a couple weeks ago, bro.
Right.
So I was just checking it out on earlier today, and about the recruiter who hit you up, man. You said the recruiter was talking shit about the resume, like. Who's this Costow guy?
Yeah, they're
Look,
just trying. Yeah,
let's just set the record straight right now.
yeah, man.
All right, I don't know if I even want to go work at the restaurant if the chef don't know who Costow is.
Exactly,
Okay?
man. Exactly. That's important to me because it's like if you don't know who is in the Michelin standings, you know what I mean. At least be aware of what the fuck's going on in the industry.
Yo.
You don't have to know everybody, but
Oh, I fucking lost you.
something like that.
Don't tell me I lost you.
You didn't lose me, bro. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
All right, chef. I might have to try and call back in, man. I don't know what's going on. I can't hear you.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. All right. Well, we had our first dropped call on Sucio Talk. It's all good. We'll figure out what that is, what that was. At some point, I'll actually be in the fucking studio, so you guys don't have to look at this white wall behind me and be like, "What's up with your fucking decoration, chef?" Nothing. All right, here we go. Yeah, Yangban Society, big win for them. Best new restaurant, Yangban Society. I'll say it again. First female CDC at a 3-star, Chef Katiana Hong. What up with Chef John Hong, who took over after her? What up with her going over to Charter Oak, opening that shit, and then me taking over for her? So a lot of history there with them. Fucking shout out. Big shout out. Outstanding Bakery. Angelo Brocato, New Orleans, Louisiana. Bread Shop in Honolulu, Hawaii. Once again, this is the James Beard Foundation 2023 nominees, and we are on Outstanding Bakeries. We're almost like not even halfway through. Angelo Brancato of New Orleans, Louisiana. Bread Shop in Honolulu, Hawaii. Buena Gente Cuban Bakery in Decatur, Georgia. La Casita Bake Shop in Richardson, Texas. Denise's Delicacies in Philly. Friends and Family in Los Angeles. I got to check that out. Fujita, Hawaii. Honolulu, Hawaii. Good Cakes and Bakes, Detroit, Michigan. Grist Milling and Bakery in Missoula, Montana. Haymaker Bun Company in Middlebury, Vermont. JL Patisserie, Phoenix and Scottsdale, Arizona. Kuluntu Bakery in Dallas, Texas. La Patisserie Chouquette, St. Louis, Missouri. All right. Mighty Bread Company in Philadelphia. Got Normal Ice Cream in Salt Lake City. Shout out to Kevin Finch. She Wolf Bakery in New York. Unforgettable Bakery and Cafe in Savannah. Yasukochi's Sweet Stop in San Francisco. I never heard of that place. I got to check that out. And Yoli Tortilleria, Kansas City, Missouri. We got Zach the Baker in Miami, Florida. Another Miami, Florida. Shout out to Chef Dave Witt. He just called in. We lost the call, but good dude. He's making the switch from restaurant to personal chef. And I will say, if you got a family, it's definitely a good option. I mean, they're paying $120 to $150. Last job I had was $170 a year. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of cash to be made out here. A lot of wealthy families that need chef services. You know what I mean? And what I've also found is that you need to be confident in who you are and understand that you're going to be in these people's homes. So if it feels wrong, even from the beginning, just don't fucking do it. Okay? The vibes need to be right. It's not like a regular job where, oh, you're going to work with people you don't like. True. You're always going to work with people you don't like, but it's important to make sure that you actually like the people that you're working for. Okay? And it definitely on a professional level, I'm not saying you got to be their best friend, but shit like when you say hi or something like that and they don't say anything back to you, that's disrespectful, son. Don't get slapped. Okay? Charlie Apple, what up, B? He's on the IG live. Let's see. Where did we stop? Outstanding pastry chef or baker. See, this is what I need more of on the show. Vince Budtong of Viridian in Oakland, California. Boom, my hometown. I'll check it out. Veronica Bauquema. Veronica's pastry shop in Billings, Montana. Montana's showing up a lot here on this James Beard business. So shout out to Montana for getting themselves on the map. Manuel and Jesus Brazon of Caracas Bakery in Doral, Florida. We got Mariela Camacho of Comadre Panaderia in Austin, Texas. Ismael de Sousa, Reunion Bread Co. in Denver. Nora Faye Allen in Mel the Bakery, New York, New York. Atsuko Fujimoto, that's Norimoto Bakery in Portland, Maine. I also don't get how you say outstanding bakery and then say outstanding pastry chef or baker. Doesn't the bakery still win the award? I know some of these are restaurants, but some of these are bakeries. I don't know how that works. Anyway, Andrew Hutchinson, Madison Sourdough, Madison, Wisconsin. Michelle Carr, Uyoka, MW Restaurant, Honolulu, Hawaii. Crystal Cass, Valentine, Phoenix, Arizona. Margarita Mansky, Republique, Los Angeles, California. Got to check her out. Noel Marchetti, Yolan, Nashville, Tennessee. Sean McKenzie, Café Ceres, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Kamari Mick, The Musket Room, New York, New York. Jeremy Mandrell and Ann N.G., Bakery Lorraine in San Antonio, Texas. I think I've been there. Bakery Lorraine. We'll check it out. Kareem Queeman. Mr. Bake, Riverdale, Maryland. Emily Riddell, Machine Shop in Philly. Philip Ashley Ricks, Philip Ashley Chocolates in Memphis, Tennessee. Elaine Uikimpang, Bent's Cafe Mochico, Cincinnati, Ohio. Mochico Flower, shout out to you. Amanda Wildermuth, Honey Road, Honey Road, Burlington, Vermont. All right, so those were the outstanding pastry chef or baker out here. James Beard 2023 nominees, and then I think in like a month or something they'll make the final list and then the winners. Outstanding hospitality presented by American Airlines. So on top of sparkling water, you also got airlines that sponsor this shit. And I've always wondered how sponsorship works for award shows or awards like this. And, shout out to them. James Beard Foundation is just literally surviving off of donations, son. So I don't know how they do it, but they're fucking doing it. The Black Cypress in Pullman, Washington. Bottega in Birmingham, Alabama. There's also a Bottega in Napa. Charleston, Baltimore. Not the same, I don't think. Charleston in Baltimore, Maryland. Charlie Apple, you ever been there? Charleston in Baltimore, Maryland. Here's Looking at You in Los Angeles. House of Prime Rib. What up? Haven't been there yet. SF. Lark in Seattle, Washington. Lil Deb's Oasis, Hudson, New York. The Local, Abilene, Texas. Lula Drake in Columbia, South Carolina. Manoli in Salt Lake City, Utah. Outstanding hospitality. We got Melba's, New York, New York. Pesh Palisade, Colorado. The Quarry, Monson, Maine. The restaurant at 1900 in Mission Woods, Kansas. Sepia in Chicago. Smoke, Woodfire Grill, Tulsa. Sir Lee, Portland. Theodore Rex in Houston. I've been there. It's fucking delicious. Ticonderoga Club, Atlanta, Georgia. Vernick Food and Drink, Philadelphia. Yeah, Theodore Rex was a fucking bomb-ass meal. Shout out to Chef Justin Yu of Oxheart. I worked with him at 12 Days, and then I ended up seeing him again for a podcast, and we did it in the little PDR right behind Theodore Rex. So shout out to that. Charleston and Baltimore, Maryland. Charlie says he has not been there, but it's an institution. Okay. Ticonderoga Club. I like that name. Vernick Food and Drink, Philadelphia, PA. This is outstanding wine and other beverage programs. I'm happy that the Psalms and the bartenders are getting some love, bro. Can't just be the chefs all the time. You know, I feel like they get their... I will say, though, there is nothing like the loyalty of a bartender or a sommelier to their chef. I mean, if they respect you, bro, they will literally do anything for you. So just remember that as a chef, you need the respect of your cooks, but you also need the respect of the front of the house and the whole fucking restaurant for that matter, okay? Outstanding wine and other beverage programs. James Beard 2023, all right? All together now, Chicago, Illinois. Commander's Palace in New Orleans, Louisiana. That is an institution. All right, my boy Trey from Saint Germain used to run that shit over there. Shout out to him. Coat in New York. I mean, the great Korean barbecue restaurant. Shout out to Federico McMaster out there. He's the general manager of that place. Killing it. We got Flight Wine Bar in Washington, D.C. Frome Brewers in Burlington, Vermont. Frida Southwest in Oklahoma City. Glyban in Phoenix, Arizona. Hiyu Wine Bar, Hood River, Oregon. Lazy Bear, San Francisco, still on top out here. They don't give a fuck. Lila Lila, Atlanta, Georgia. Macchialina, Miami Beach, Florida. Monk's Cafe, Philadelphia. Nancy's Hustle, Houston, Texas. OK Omens, Portland, Oregon. Ototo, Los Angeles, California. I don't think they know what that means in Puerto Rican Spanish. Ototo. Toto means pussy. Sorry for the language. But it's fucking Sucio talk. You should be used to this shit by now. You know what I mean? Here we go. And try a different little background here. Rebel, Somerville, Massachusetts. Spencer, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Suerte in Austin, Texas. Of course, you know my boy Furman was going to be on there. I mean, let's go, chef. I hope his new fish fire cooking restaurant also gets a James Beard at some point. They just opened up, so I feel like that's why it didn't happen, but I'm sure if my boy got it for Suerte, he's gonna get it for fucking his other restaurant because he's got that good Suerte, Furman Nunez. Outstanding bar. I wonder what they base this on. Like, if you say outstanding bar, James Beard, what does that mean? Does it mean that the place is beautiful? Does it mean that only the drinks are good? The service, is it all encompassing? I guess it is all encompassing if it's outstanding bar. Outstanding where? Inside, out in the field? Who knows? Allegory, Washington, D.C. It's a good bar out there. Outstanding bar, James Beard 2023. American Solera, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bar Leather Apron. It's a fucking good name. Honolulu, Hawaii. Not the first time I've heard that name. Cafe La Trova, Miami, Florida. Dante, New York. Drastic Measures, Shawnee, Kansas. Esther's Wine Shop and Bar, Santa Monica, California. Garagiste Wine Room in Merchant, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's probably a dope-ass bar. The Gym Room in St. Louis, Missouri. Harlem Hops in New York, New York. The Jewel Box, Portland, Maine. Kingfisher, Durham, North Carolina. Las Ramblas, Brownsville, Texas. Le Caveau, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Post Office Place in Salt Lake City. Rob Roy in Seattle, Washington. Salud Cerveceria in Charlotte, North Carolina. You guys can find this all also to jamesbeard.org. Jamesbeard.org. Okay. Post Office Place, Salt Lake City. Rob Roy, Salud. I already said those. Scratch Brewing Company. Trick Dog in San Francisco once again. All right. You can check out the chef, that chef's podcast on Spotify. All right. Had him a little while ago. I met him at Catering Outside Lands with the Oko Supper Club boys. I dropped acid that day too. Worked the line on acid. All right, just so you know. Best Chefs presented by Capital One by region. Capital One represents the best chefs, huh? So far we got Aquapana, we got Sam Pelli, we got American Airlines, all as sponsoring, right? Sponsoring the award show. I wonder how all that works. It's got to be because they pay for the flights. Well, Capital One just pays for everything else. All right, here we go. Best Chef, California. You ready? You guys fucking ready for this? Jonathan Batista, Kingfisher, San Diego, California. Rocio Camacho, Rocio's Mexican Kitchen, Bell's Garden, California. Val M. Cantu, San Francisco. Gilberto Cetina Jr., Whole Box, L.A. Kyle and Katina Connaughton, that's Single Thread. Fucking killing it over there. Brandon Hayato Go, Hayato in Los Angeles. I got to check that place out. Didn't know that it was after his name there. Srijith Gopinathan, Etan, Ettan, Palo Alto. I got to check that out. Matthew Cam up there at in Elk, California at Harbor House. We all know about that. Intuan Cornwall, Joe's Modern Thai, Oakland, California. Intu is one of the sweetest women I've ever met in my life. All right, I met her at a guest chef dinner that was happening in Oakland, and just a super sweet lady. I'm actually go and do an interview with her at some point. Andrew and Michelle Munoz, Moo's Craft Barbecue, L.A. Let's see, Justin Pichet Runsky, Anna Jack Tai. I gotta fucking learn how to say people's names better. Michael Reed, Poppy and Seed, Anaheim, California. Daisy Ryan, badass. I met her this past year. She was at Octavia doing an event with I was a fucking brain fart. I can't even remember this guy's name. He's been on the podcast twice. And let me tell you something that keeps happening to me. The Charlie Apple just ate at Etan. He said it was delicious. You see, that you guys are the ones that are keeping this industry alive. You're going to eat places. So keep on doing it, man. These places need you. Nico. Fucking thank you, bro. Chef Nico. He's going to kill me for that one. He's going to be listening to it in the car like, what the fuck? He's going to have to turn down the volume because his girl's in the car. He doesn't want to hear me disrespect his name. I'm not doing that. I love him. So, good dude over there in Octavia. He's done some of the coolest guest chef dinners in 2022. I think he had the best series of guest chefs. So shout out to him. James Scheibout, Comey, as always, like, he's got to be on the list. He's the man. Although I will say, James Beard, what's up with this? You got to fix this. You misspelled James Scheibout's name, bro. It's SYH on your website. Scheibout. Scheibout. You're shy about the way you're spelling it, huh? Craig, so fix that, James Beard Award people. James Scheibout's name on the website is misspelled. Please fix that. Thank you. Craig Takehara, Binchoyaki, Sacramento, California. Chef Pim over there at Kin Cow. That's my favorite Thai restaurant in the city. Robbie Wilson at Le Fantastique. I got to check that out. Akira Yoshizumi, Sushi Yoshizumi in San Mateo. What did I tell you about these fucking sushi spots in Northern California, bro? San Mateo, Richmond, Ronert Park. I mean, if you guys are missing out, there's a lot of fucking good sushi up there. So get your ass up there if you can. Best Chef, Great Lakes. This is Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. We love Ohio. Check out the show. I love the 90s. Or that 90s show. It's like that 70s show. But all the people from the 70s show are now parents. It's pretty cool. Check it out. Best Chef, Great Lakes, Francisco Alfaro, Mid-City Restaurant, Cincinnati, Ohio. Omar Anani, Saffron de Trois, Detroit, Michigan. Abra Barons, Granner Farm, Three Oaks, Michigan. We got Becky Clark, Little Fish Brewing Company in Athens, Ohio. Diana Davila Boldin, Mitocaya, Antojeria, Chicago, Illinois. Tai Dang, Haisu, Chicago, Illinois. Paul Ferryback. I don't know you, man. I don't know if your back's furry. All right, don't be coming after me. Big Jones, baby. Big Jones Restaurant, Chicago, Illinois. Tim Flores and Jeannie Kwan, Kasama, Chicago, Illinois. I heard of that place before. I need to go check it out. Norberto Garita, El Barzón, Detroit, Michigan. Hideki and Yuko Horada Kiki in Cincinnati, Ohio. Andy Holiday, Selden Standard, Detroit, Michigan. And again, this is Best Chef Great Lakes. D. Kim's Wag Nasty. What's up, dude? I thought you were Daniel Kim the whole fucking time, and I was DMing with you for like a good, 6 or 7 long texts about some issue we were talking about, and then you're like, I'm not Daniel Kim, and I was like, what? Blew my mind. Hope you're doing well, man. Lost my place here. Norberto Garita. I already said that. BJ Lieberman, Chapman's Eat Market, Columbus, Ohio. Hamisi Mamba and Nadia Nijember, Baobab Fair, Detroit, Michigan. Abi Meris, Bluebeard, Indianapolis, Indiana. Zubair Mohajir, Wazwan Restaurant in Chicago, Illinois. Samir Mohammed, 9th Street Bistro, Noblesville, Indiana. All right. A lot of fucking names I don't know, which I love. Thank you, James Beard. As much shit as we like to talk about Eater, SF Chronicle, James Beard, Michelin, I mean, this is where I know, who's doing what. You know what I mean? Find me another list, and I'll fucking stop using this. But at the end of the day, like, these are the fucking guys who know what's going on. And I'm glad they finally, got their act together, and they're going out into different, branching out into different restaurants and stuff. You see a lot of Thai, a lot of there's some Indian here. There's a lot of cultures being represented by James Beard. I would love to meet James Beard. Me and Charlie Apple talked about we want to be We always want to be the guy that kicked Thomas Keller in the dick. Okay. He can quote that one right there. You can tell Thomas Keller that don't even mention Charlie's name. Mention my name. You can tell him Sucio's going to kick him right in the dick. Okay? Here we go. I can't wait for the day to have that dude on the show, because I have this gift that I was given by, the powers that be, the old souls and the rocks, whatever the fuck is here on the earth that makes your soul, right? People open up around me, and their humor becomes a little bit more edgy than it would otherwise normally be. I think I make people feel a little comfortable. So I want, Thomas Keller to sit on the show and talk to me like a regular fucking human being with no agenda, no, oh shit, I'm going to get in trouble for this. No, nothing. Just a guy without anything else. And I want to get to know that person, because I feel like every time we get to know chefs, it's like, well, what's his food? Well, what's his restaurant? It's like, who is he? What does he like to do when he's not at the restaurant? We all know he likes to golf. Good thing he found his golf clubs. So yeah, if anybody has his number, hit him up. Let him know I'm looking for him. Tell him Sucio sent you. Okay. Best chef Mid-Atlantic, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia. All right. Weird. Chris Amendola, Foraged, Baltimore, Maryland. Steve Chu, Ekeben, Baltimore, Maryland. Joy Crump, Food, Fredericksburg, Virginia. David Deshays, La Ardente, Washington, D.C. We got Nick Forsberg of Fet Fisk, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Best Chef Mid-Atlantic here, James Beard, 2023. Ramen Rock Harper, Queen Mother's Fried Chicken, Arlington, Virginia. Love that. Andrew Henshaw, Laser Wolf in Philadelphia. Jesse Ito Royal Sushi, Philadelphia. Dionico Jimenez, that's a fucking beautiful name. Dionico? Dionisio. Oh, yeah. Jimenez, Cantina La Martina. Like it. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Kate Lasky and Tomas Skoronsky. Apteka, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Apteka is the name of the restaurant. Apteka in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Enrique Limardo, 7 Reasons, Washington, D.C. Philip Manganaro, Park Place Cafe and Restaurant, Merchantville, New Jersey. Then we got Merchantville, New Jersey. Melissa McGrath, Sweet Amalia Market and Kitchen, Newfield, New Jersey. Tan Nguyen, Gabriella's Vietnam. Tan Nguyen, Gabriella's Vietnam, Philadelphia. Peter Prime, Bammies. Peter Prime. That's a fucking sick-ass real name. Peter Prime. What up, man? Peter Prime. How you doing? The name's Prime. Peter Prime. Peter Prime. Bammies. Bammy in Washington, D.C. Michael Rafidi, Albee. Killing it out there. Didn't get a chance to go to his restaurant, but that's a restaurant where any chef or cook I talk to, they're like, yo, we're going to Washington, D.C. Like, we're going to go eat at Albee. So Michael Rafidi, shout out to you. Ryan Ratino Bresca of Bresca in Washington, D.C. Ryan Ratino, I met him when I was eating at Catbird Seat. And this is how I knew I was on the right track here, because I basically went to Nashville. I go to eat at the Catbird Seat, and then I get sat next to a woman named Ploy. Ploy was a cook at Single Thread, was still working at Single Thread and also working on her pop-up. But the craziest part about it was that the day before I did a podcast with Justin McMillan, and he also worked at Single Thread. He actually helped open it. So when I sat next to her and I told her, you know, we got to know each other, I told her what I was doing, she's like, oh, that's my mentor you just did a podcast with. So imagine out of all the days that I was in Nashville, it was like 4 days. You know, I could have chosen to go to Catbird Seat. I chose that day. And that day I got sat next to her and Ryan Ratino from Bresca. And she was telling me that, and it was just a crazy coincidence that I interviewed her mentor, who they met in California. I interviewed him in St. Louis, and then I went to Nashville, and it's just so happened that they were there on vacation that same week. Fucking crazy. Back to the chefs. Best chef. This is Best Chef Mid-Atlantic Chef. Okay, here we go. Omar Rodriguez, Oyamel, Cocina Mexicana, Washington, D.C. Chuta Tip, Nok Suntaranon. That's a sick name. Chutatip. Nok, N-O-K is like his nickname, I'm guessing. And then it's Suntaranon. Kalaya in Philly. And then you got Kevin Tien of Moon Rabbit in Washington, D.C. I've heard Moon Rabbit is really good. Check that out. Best Chef Midwest. Got Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota. Missouri. North Dakota, South Dakota. Wyoming. Let me see. Sana Aburezka. Sana's Gourmet Mediterranean in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And Ahmed Kaluna, Minneapolis. Nick Bognar, Indo, St. Louis, Missouri. Samuel Charles, Rodina in Cedar Rapids. Rob Connolly, Bull Rush, St. Louis, Missouri. Michael Corvino Supper Club and Tasting Room. What up, Michael Corvino? I did a podcast with him as well. It's on the YouTube. Check it out. I did that on the road trip. He was the guy I interviewed after Justin McMillan. He was the first one after Miles. So I ate dinner at Senor Bear. I interviewed the chef there. I rolled the joint, and then I pieced out to Kansas City from Denver at midnight to make my appointment, or my my podcast appointment with Michael Corvino. Because that was the thing, man. It's hard to fucking schedule this shit, and I will say it's very easy to just be like, fucking cancel the podcast. Not on my end, but on other people's end, right? Because it's a podcast, and I treasure people's time, right? So I don't want for them to feel pressured or a certain type of way about the show. You know what I mean? I don't want to pressure anybody. It needs to be nice, calm conversation. Okay? Here we go. Nick Golner, The Antler Room. I've heard of The Antler Room, Kansas City, Missouri. Dan Jacobs and Dan Van Wright, Esterev. Gregory Leon, Amelinda, Milwaukee. Pam Liberda, Waldo Tai, Kansas City. Francesco Mangiano, Osteria Papavero, Madison, Wisconsin. Itaru Nagano and Andrew Kroger, Fairchild in Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin, popping up with the fucking food scene out there. Lauren Nalick, Balkan Treat Box, Webster Groves, Missouri. Christiana Wynn, Hi, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Joseph Rainey, Skogan Kitchen, Custer, South Dakota. Custer. That's a weird fucking name for a town. Karen Tomlinson, Miriel, St. Paul, Minnesota. Paul and Jessica Urban, Block 16, Omaha, New England. David Utterback, Yoshitomo, Omaha, New England. Adam Van Dongi, The White Linen, Topeka, Kansas. And I'm sure I'll meet you guys at some point, and then you guys can just tell me how I butchered your name. But it's okay. Everybody butchered my name in high school and college and fucking everywhere. Gilatoy? It's Guillote, you sons of bitches. Okay, here we go. Joseph Rainey. I already said that. Karen Tomlinson, Miriel, St. Paul, Minnesota. Paul and Jessica Urban, Block 16, Omaha, New England. Omaha, New England. Come on, David. Come on. Nebraska. Here we go. David Utterback, Yoshitomo in Omaha. Adam Van Dong, The White Linen. Yevang Union Hmong Kitchen, Minneapolis. Then we got, my goodness, guys. We got a lot of fucking ground to cover here. It's an hour and 21 minutes in, and we have covered Best Chef Mountain. Yeah, it's quite a fucking long list here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Best Chef Mountain. Okay, and then we're going to come back next week and go through Best Chef New York State. All right? Try to make these shows only about an hour long. We're about an hour and 20 minutes in right now. So there we go. So yeah, Best Chef Mountain, Salvador Alamilla, Amano, Caldwell, Idaho. Michael Anandono, Michelangelo's Big Sky and Big Sky, Montana. Dan Ansotegui, Ansots, Boise, Idaho. Jose Avila, La Diabla, Pozole Mezcal, Denver. Andy Blanton, Cafe Kandahar, Whitefish, Montana. Paul Chamberlain and Logan Crew. SLC Eatery, Salt Lake City, Utah. Michael Diaz de Leon, Bruto in Denver. Barclay Dodge, Bosk and Aspen. Andrew Fuller, Eau Queer in Salt Lake City. Briar Handley, Handle and Park City, Utah. Sushata Johnson and Teton Tai and Teton. Is it Teton? Teton Village, Wyoming. Teton Tai. Young Ho Kang and Peter Kim, The Angry Korean, South Jordan, Utah. Chris Kamori Kin in Boise, Idaho. Chris Lockhart and Danny Mowat, Prerogative Kitchen, Red Lodge. Kibram Milaj, Kibram's Ethiopian and Etrian Food, Boise, Idaho. Paul Noggle, I guess that's his name. Izakaya, Three Fish, Bozeman, Montana. Sindhura Reddy, Spontino, Denver, Colorado. Earl James Reynolds, Stone Hill Kitchen and Bar in Big Fork, Montana. Ali Sabah Maza, Salt Lake City, Utah. And Penelope Wong, Yuan Wonton, Denver, Colorado. All right. So if I keep on doing this fucking reading off the list here, we're never going to get to anything else, guys. You know what I mean? It's not like we need to get to anything else. We're at a fucking hour and 20 minutes of a live show here. But it's okay. James Beard. So we'll pick up next week on Best Chef Northeast. Best Chef Northeast on the James Beard 2023 nominees. Saving it to the folder right now so we know where we're picking off. Okay. So if you haven't checked that out, Terrores Restaurantes is a Instagram that shows all the hard times happening in Mexico City restaurants. Francisco Javier Guzman told me a story last week about where they had a guest who was being rude, and they fucking killed him. Okay, shit is rough out here. All right, so just know that if you're sitting at home in the comfort of your own bed, watching Sucio talk, you're probably better off than most, baby. Okay, here we go. So, Atelier Kren just announced that they're changing their trajectory. They're going to close down, do a remodel, and kind of focus on a pescatarian menu. It's kind of a Noma-esque, EMP-esque move. But, you know, at this point, at this day and age, restaurants do not stay open forever anymore. Restaurants need to die. Restaurants are a life, right? So you birth them, you make your restaurant, you know, you grow it, and then after it's grown, you know, to its full potential, I feel like a lot of chefs have a hard time just leaving it alone and being like, you know what, we're closing this restaurant. And I feel like they keep going and keep going and keep going, and after a while, it's like it's not sustainable. And I'm talking about a while. I'm talking about like 10 years, 20 years. You know what I mean? It's impossible to keep staff that long. So it's okay if you say, I'm going to open up this restaurant, in 10 years I'm going to close it. There's nothing fucking wrong with that. It's like people that want to move somewhere, but they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like it there. It's like, you don't have to fucking move somewhere forever. You can move somewhere for 6 months, figure it out, and then move. But people don't want to be uncomfortable. They want to have their fucking Netflix and their HBO and all the other shit. And like that costs money, you know, $10 a month, 12 months, you know, it's 120 that you're not putting towards traveling the world, a new knife maybe, shit like that. So just, you know, it's food for thought, right? Food for thoughts. Here we go. And Dominic Crenn actually consulted on the movie The Menu, which I thought was a very good movie in terms of the genre that it was, right? Because it's a little sci-fi, it's a little horror-y, a little satirical, if you will. Good movie. But I can't wait to see the grittier chef shows that are going to be made in the future. I'm talking about a chef like the real hardcore motherfucking chefs who, you know, are there at 8 a.m. every day, but go out every night and get wild, but then come back at 8 every day and have just that energy, that killer mentality of like, I'm gonna fucking do whatever I can to make successes come out of this kitchen, make better food, get my fucking Michelin star, get my James Beard award, and I'm gonna go out fucking, you know, and enjoy my life. And I know a lot of us go online, and online tells you, well, you gotta, you know, drink a gallon of water and go to the fucking gym for 3 hours a day. You know, you don't have to live the life of these people that are so extreme like that. Definitely do some fucking exercise and get out there moving around and do what you got to do. But just know that there's nothing wrong with you if you're not fucking this built, you know, beautiful person. Um, there's a lot out there for everyone. All right, so just don't get down on yourself. Restaurants, as we know it, are evolving. I mean, the places that are grandfathered in will stay similar, so like the French Laundry. I always wonder if during our time we'll ever see the restaurant, the French Laundry, close. You know, I know it's kind of outlandish to say that now, but in 10 years, is that a thing? Who knows? But those restaurants that are new have a set of challenges because we're living in between worlds right now. It's the old school and the new school happening all simultaneously. That's why we have so much conflict right now. The things are changing. And if you don't feel it, you're not paying attention because the energies are there. Right? So we're in between worlds. We're going over to this new world. We don't know what that is yet. We're trying to define it. So are restaurants sustainable? I would say that fucking restaurants are not sustainable because the only restaurants that really make money and you know you can have some kind of life are breakfast places, you know. But it's like, let's be real, not all of us want to cook breakfast. You know, some of us get in it for
the fine dining aspect of things. And I would hate to see fine dining get canceled in the way it's being canceled. I really don't think that is the way we need to be handling this shit. We need to figure out a sustainable way to still do that shit. You know? So we're going to figure it out. Got to figure out a way to change it. And we also have to know and be humble enough to know that the change won't be completely done in our lifetime. There's going to be a lot more years of this shit. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So just be aware, okay? And then I thought of, what does the world look like in the future? And I recently got into thrift shopping. I like thrift shops. I like old shit, antiques. Never thought I would be that kind of guy, but now I'm into it. What can you say, So basically, I thought about this. I'm like, what does a thrift shop look like 100 years from now? Because like now you can find shit that was, made in the 50s, 40s, 20s, even the 1800s. You can find shit that was made from that era in antiques and thrift shops. In 100 years, when there's thrift shops, like what the fuck's going to be in there? IKEA furniture? Is that going to be the fucking vintage for everyone? Some fucking polyester jackets and bitch ass fake couches and shit made with slave labor? Is that what's going to be the antiques that our kids are going to be going to fucking thrift shop for? We're really losing the craft of a lot of shit here. I mean, people who make chairs, and that's what's cool about restaurants, because it's sort of preserving that area of art, whether it's making furniture, tables, lighting, things to hold the fucking lights, lamps. I mean, all the shit that a restaurant needs, right? And then you got places, or James Beard awarding things like best restaurateur. All the restaurateurs that are in the world now, going into the future, how many more fucking restaurants are we going to have? You know what I mean? Every year there's new drivers. Do you see any new highways being built? I don't fucking see that shit. So what the fuck are we going to do when 5 years from now there is an increased amount of drivers but the same amount of road? You get what I'm saying here? We're all just going to be in fucking traffic all the time. So hopefully they let Elon Musk build these weird ass trains underground so we can just take those, because I'm telling you what, these places that have traffic, it's just going to get worse, man. And after a while, you're not going to be able to fucking move. And then Uber isn't going to help you. It's just getting worse by the day with this shit. But it's okay. First world problems. We're made of plastic anyway, right? So what the fuck does it matter? If you guys want to stay up on what's going on in food, what I would do is stalk the job posting pages, culinary agents, all that shit. Because I just was looking there and I saw Christopher Costow is opening up an Italian concept. And he's looking for a chef to probably make some pizzas. He's always wanted to make a pizza restaurant. So hopefully that happens. And they're looking for a chef. So definitely hit him up. Culinary agents, if you want to be a part of that. I already did my time. I'm not going back. Okay. The 49ers lost yesterday. Don't give a fuck. But figured I would say it anyway. And then I did write a note about the whole Noma incident, and I just want to say it here. Talking about Rene Redzepi here. You cannot deny that through his efforts, he changed food, changed the way we think about it, and he did everything in his power to make it happen, including a free labor model that we always forget was voluntary. My first chefs in culinary school were brutally honest about what was to be expected if we went the Michelin route. And we subscribed knowing full well what the stakes were. I think the real culprit here is the media. They decide what we think, what we argue about. And that's why podcasts are so great. We can break away from standardized opinions and formulate our own thoughts. Is fine dining broken? You're goddamn right it is. Can we fix it? I think we can, together as a community of respectable adults. Will it take time? Yes. Will the first 5 solutions work? No. Probably fucking not. We have this tendency these days to cancel everyone. If you want to personally cancel Rene Redzepi, be my guest. Go ahead. But the way to do that is to simply not repost or share or talk about this, him, or the newspaper that wrote the article. But every click benefits them, and we fed right into it. He Elon Musked fucking everyone. And their plan worked. Their marketing scheme worked. And also, if you really want to cancel unjust work environments, throw your fucking phones out the window. Because all your little knick-knack gadgets, iPhone, fucking watches, your phone, everything that has cobalt in it, all right, is made with modern-day slavery. Okay, just so you know, modern-day slaves make your phone. So if you're sitting there being a social justice warrior on your phone, just understand that in order for you to have your phone, people need to suffer. Okay? I'm just saying how it is. I didn't make the world, and if it was my way, it wouldn't be like that. But it's just what we're living in. Okay? So just be real with it. So to fight these evils that come from evil, right? These devices are made on the backs of modern-day slaves, but we don't talk about that. We flock to shit on a person who had a restaurant where people chose. Let me say that again. We flock to shit on a guy who had a restaurant where people chose to be there and work for free. I don't have the answers. It's just how I feel about it, you know? And it's a classic case of hating the player, not the game. All right? And that is all I will say about that. You know, you can really just know that, like, there's people that make bad decisions, that premeditate the bad decision. I'm going to do this to fuck this person over. And then there's the people who are doing what they think is the right thing, and then it turns out to be not so great. Okay? But every bad idea today, everything we're fucking upset about today, right, was a good idea 50 years ago, i.e. plastic. Hey, look at this thing. It's cheaper than metal. You can fucking carry it anywhere. It's disposable. You know, put your food in it, wash it. You got storage for days. Okay, cool. We love plastic. Oh my God, cool, plastic, yay. And then now we got a fucking island in the middle of the ocean, you know, the size of Texas, made of plastic. So, look, at the end of the day, we're just going to be made of plastic at some point. We're going to have trace plastics in our body. I mean, if we don't already, we're going to, right? It's just where we're going, guys. And if we keep being sad about this shit and not being able to just talk through it, then we're never going to fucking get anywhere, you know? The same people who ask for change are the most critical when change is attempted, but they rarely have a contribution for a solution. You know, it's like that Nisei thing. Hey, I'm going to offer $1,000 I'm going to charge $1,000 for you to come with me on a journey where, you know, we go to the farmer's market, get some vegetables, come back here, you prep them, and then you come in later for dinner. And it's a whole experience, and you pay $1,000 for that. And people are writing this article about it in a very satirical, whimsical way, right? But these are the same writers who write about social justice and the way that restaurants should be run, even though the majority of the food writers out there haven't spent any actual time in a kitchen being a chef, being a server. Okay? I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying most of the ones that I know. Right? You went and got a journalism degree, or you went and became a journalism, or a journalist, right? That's okay. Because I'm sure at some point you look at me and you say, well, who the fuck's this guy? He thinks he's a fucking journalist now? No. I'm just a chef doing a show about chefs for chefs and regular people and industry people so you can get in our heads. But much more than chefs, because the conversation has to do with everybody. Chefs, servers, fucking cooks, dishwashers, immigrants, everyone. Okay? Just so you know. It's the only place, a restaurant is really the only place where the workforce is made up of different IQs, different levels of expertise within different things. And honestly, you know, we were having a conversation earlier about flights and people canceling flights and shit like that. And I got to say, like, I don't think we give them enough credit. I mean, to the way the flights work in this country, in the world, the way that, you know, at least 60 to 70% of them happen at, you know, maybe not on time, but you get there pretty much within the hour of where the fuck you're gonna. That's a lot of logistical shit to fucking deal with. And the only thing we always remember is the bad parts of our experience when it comes to the airlines. But we don't give enough credit when they get it right. And we're also always so quick to shit on things, you know? And I just feel like if we had a little bit more patience in that field, we can get a lot further, you know? So with that, I will say Sucio Talk number 110. I don't have any guests in the chamber quite yet, but we will. All right. Suciotalk.com for merch. YouTube.com/@SucioTalk. Subscribe, people. Please subscribe. Help me out, bro. You know? That way we can make the show everything it always could be. Or, you know what I'm saying. I really appreciate everybody coming out. Puff Maui Wowie, what up? I'm about to do that same thing after I get out of here. Anchor FM, if you want it just on audio, Anchor FM. Spotify, that's video and audio, obviously, if you're driving in the car. So leave a 5-star review if you listen to it on Spotify. That helps me out a lot. Subscribe on YouTube, helps me out a lot. Buy a t-shirt on suciotalk.com. Helps me out a lot, all right? Doing a podcast is not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's very interesting to bring up different points of view and conversations and things like that, and that's what I'm here for. The hotline is up, 510-463-1145. That shit is real. Or you can call in, leave a message. You don't have to call in when it's live because I probably won't pick it up. I will only pick up the phone Monday at 10. Mondays at 10, okay? And past that, you can call, leave a message. I'll play your message on the show. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to send a message, go ahead, send a message. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, all right? Other than that, peace out, be safe. Sucio Talk, best motherfucking podcast there ever was. Not yet anyway, but will be. All right, and since I don't have the theme queued up here, I'm going to go ahead and do it with my voice. All right, here we go. All right, peace.